Hello, my name's Nigel Ivy. I'm an elopement videographer based in Ireland, and this channel is for couples who are on the journey of planning your elopement, planning that dream time where you're going to celebrate each other, celebrate your love, commit your lives to each other. And I want this to be a resource base for couples that are in that position to help you along on that journey. So I specialize in elopements, and that's my focus, is small weddings, intimate weddings and elopements. And I absolutely love it. I love the flexibility of elopements. I love what you can do with them, how much freedom you have. And in this video, I'm going to be looking at one of the things that people don't realize about Ireland, and it's probably the thing that surprises them the most when they're planning their elopements. And that is how much our daylight varies through the seasons. So what a lot of people don't realize is that we're actually quite far north on the globe, and therefore our fluctuation between summer and winter time is massive. So for example, the longest day of the year, the sun rises somewhere around 20 past 4 in the morning, half past 4 in the morning, and then it sets that same day, the longest day of the year, just before 11 p.m. at night. So you have this huge range of daylight and very short nighttime where it's dark. And then in the winter you have the complete opposite, where the shortest day of the year, the sun rises around 8:30, 8:45 in the morning, and then it sets that same day at about 3:45 in the afternoon. So you have this huge variation of daylight and nighttime, and the reason this is important is because from a videographer's point of view, and photographers will share the same feelings, is that it's really important that you plan your elopement around when the best light is. And the reason that's important is because it gives you the best video or the best photos possible. So if you have your elopement slapdash in the middle of the day at like lunchtime, then if it's a bright day, then the light is going to be really harsh, your shadows are going to be really harsh, you're going to get like those panda eyes where you just have like big shadows on the bottom of your eyes, and it just doesn't look as good as if you were to shoot right at sunset. So at sunset, a lot of people call that golden hour, which is where the light is soft, the sun is just going towards the horizon and it's getting softer. You have those sort of long shadows, it's not harsh, and it just makes you look much better. It's much more flattering on your skin. It just looks awesome in the photos and the video. So that's why it's important to plan your elopement around the best possible light. So obviously with the huge fluctuation in time, and it changes about 20 minutes per week in terms of how much light you have. So obviously the closer you get to winter and the shortest day of the year, you're losing 20 minutes of daylight per week, and then as you're going into summer you're gaining 20 minutes of daylight. And the reason this is important is when you're planning stuff around your elopement, so let's just say you are eloping with some guests, so you have some family or really close friends or whoever is joining you, and you want to involve them in your elopement. So obviously they're going to be involved in your ceremony. You might then split off from the group, go to some awesome locations, just you and your spouse, and then you may want to meet back up with your friends and family in the evening, say, and have a Guinness. Maybe you want to go to a rustic traditional Irish pub and have a couple of Guinnesses with your party to celebrate and kind of be in the culture and enjoy that time together. Or let's just say you actually want to have a meal, you want to have a traditional Irish meal to celebrate your elopement, kind of your wedding dinner, if you will, that you would have had at a big wedding, and maybe you want to have some speeches or something like that during that time, and you want to book kind of a function room or something like that at a pub. All of those sort of things are possibilities, and this kind of stuff that I work through with couples to make recommendations and help them with planning all of that. But let's just say you want to do something with your wedding party. If you're eloping in the middle of summer when the sun is setting at like 10 p.m, 10:30, 10:45, obviously that makes it quite difficult to plan all around that. So if you were to say have a 6-hour elopement on the longest day of the year, then you're going to be starting your elopement probably like 3 or 4 p.m, have your ceremony 4 or 5 p.m, somewhere around there, then shoot portraits and explore, go to a few different locations if you want to make use of the best light, obviously. And then you're going to finish up at sunset, which is like 10:30. You maybe shoot a little bit after the sun's actually gone below the horizon, so you'll end up getting back to a pub or whatever the case is at like 11, 11:15, 11:30, Obviously, nobody wants to be having a big meal, a big wedding meal, a big pub meal at like 11:30 at night, or maybe you do, but most people don't want to eat that late. So you may be able to just squeeze in a few Guinnesses and just enjoy that, maybe some Irish whiskey or something like that, and just celebrate that way. But most people want to have a meal or something like that. So you just need to plan that around when in the year you want to elope. Now, the longest day of the year, I believe, is around the 25th of July, somewhere around there, and the shortest day of the year is just before Christmas. It's like the 20th of December, somewhere around that sort of date. So that kind of gives you an idea of when might be a good time to elope. And obviously there's loads of factors to think in on this, because for some people having that time with family to celebrate and stuff is not actually that important. Maybe it's just going to be the two of you. Maybe you don't have any family or friends that are going to be joining you for elopement, which is awesome as well. And in that case, it doesn't matter. You can elope in the middle of summer, the longest day of the year, maybe go to the pub and have some drinks afterwards with your spouse and celebrate that way. But maybe you're not necessarily interested in having a meal with family. But if you are, then that's just something to be thinking about and considering as you're planning your elopement. So what a lot of people do is they try and get a compromise where they'll try and elope at a time of the year when the sun's not setting too late, so they can still get the best possible light, have that sunset finish for their elopement, and then get to the pub or restaurant, have a meal with their friends and family that have joined them for their elopement, or go to the pub for some live music and drinks, stuff like that. So now I'm recording this video, it's the end of October, and right now the sun is setting around 5 p.m. or thereabouts, and it's rising in the morning about 7:30 p.m. So October, sort of September, October are actually great times of the year in terms of finding that balance of the sun's not setting too late, it's not setting too early, so you're not losing loads of your day. It's also not rising too late or early, so if you did happen to want to do like a day after shoot and do something like that, then you're not waking up at like 3 o'clock in the morning to get ready. It's a reasonable time. You might wake up 5:30, 6 o'clock to get ready, that sort of thing. So it's not crazy early, and it's kind of a good balance of the two. And obviously springtime would be the same. If you were to do your elopement like March, April, maybe May, obviously the days are getting a bit longer then, and it's kind of a good balance. You might be able to finish your elopement at like say 7 p.m. somewhere around there, have a reservation for a meal like 8 p.m., that sort of thing. So yeah, I guess to summarize, if it's just the two of you eloping, no friends and family, you're not bothered about having a meal or something like that, then you can do whatever you want. Elope any time of the year. Just pick whatever you think is best for you and what you like the most in terms of how Ireland looks, what the weather looks like, whether you want it moody and wintry or whether you want it summery and hopefully bright and sort of adventurous like that. And if you are eloping with family and friends, then obviously this is something to consider. And having said all of that, what a lot of my couples do is actually say, well, their elopement day, the ceremony is to be with the family and friends. If they can fit in having drinks that evening or something like that, then that's awesome. But otherwise, that's their day. They do what they want, and then they celebrate in and around that. So the beautiful thing about eloping is that for the most part, your friends and family that are coming with you, they're traveling with you. You might be on the same flights or try and tie in like that, but they're there for days. Like, it's not like a big wedding where you have like one day. You're there for say 5 days or a week or 2 weeks or whatever the case is. So you have all this time, and it's a special time anyway. So yes, your elopement is today, for example, but it's not to say you couldn't have your like special celebratory meal at a restaurant or a nice pub or something tomorrow, or the day before your elopement or something like that. So there's loads of stuff to consider and factor in, but I just wanted to put it out there because often I'll be on calls with couples and we'll be talking about their elopement and planning, and I'll be talking about timeline planning and working with the sunset and finding the sunset and working backwards from there. And then I just mentioned to couples, hey, you got to consider that the time of the year makes a big difference in terms of what you get in terms of daylight. And I mentioned the fluctuation, and they're like, wow, I didn't realize Ireland had such a big variation. So it's something to consider, and I hope that this video has been helpful. If you are planning an elopement, especially here in Ireland, then I'd love you to reach out to me if you have any questions or anything like that. I'm here to serve my couples to make sure that you get your dream elopement experience and that it's the best day ever. I hope this video has been helpful. Thank you for watching, and like I said, I'd love to hear from you if you have any questions or want to know anything about eloping. I don't just work on island elopements, I work on elopements all over the world. So next year I have a big range of destinations that I'm eloping in. I have some spaces in Santorini, Faroe Islands, France, Spain. So if you're interested in any of those, then reach out to me. I'd love to plan something awesome with you, plan your dream elopement with you. But yeah, otherwise I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.